Hey everyone, it's Mike with Potomac Standard. This channel is all about manufacturing and bringing manufacturing back to America, but I'll be the first to admit how scary it can be to invest a ton of money or take out a loan for the tools to get started. That's why it's so important to have the ability to test a product before taking out a massive loan or spending your life savings. This is going to be the first part of an ongoing series where we really look at a number of manufacturers, quoting services, getting the best deal through negotiations, and how these online platforms are a tool you should absolutely use to your advantage. It's funny though, there's a lot of videos out there for the manufacturers talking about the best online services to work for, but there's very few videos out there for the end user. It makes sense that there might be a lot more videos out there for Uber drivers than Uber passengers, because the driver has the more complicated job. But here we need to provide the step file, provide it in the correct format, possibly provide technical drawings, and so on. So the consumer actually has a pretty complicated job. I grew up hand-forging knives in my backyard, and I've combined those skills with my grandfather's legacy of selling quality household hardware. We're based out of Miami, down in South Florida, and we're on a mission to bring manufacturing back to America, one project at a time. During the pandemic, we hadn't started Potomac Standard yet. I had been hand-forging knives in my backyard for years, but I had never taken on any sort of CAD or CNC-based project. There's a company out there, Knights Armament, and they make some amazing hunting equipment. But their products require specialized tools for disassembly, and they won't sell those tools to the public. I wanted to make some modifications and figured it would be a fun project to tackle. It ended up taking me a lot longer than expected, but I was able to stumble my way through developing the step file in FreeCAD. This being before Potomac Standard, before the shop, before the CNCs, so I had to find a way to convert my step file into reality. This ended up being the very first time I ever used Zometry. Figuring all this out was a little like a superpower. The first thing it showed me was how to convert a step file into a straightforward cost per unit. Xometry puts the pricing sheet right in front of you. They just automatically show you the prices of a single unit if you'd like 5, 10, 25, or you could even put in anything up to 1,000 or two. So you can very, very quickly get a great understanding of whether or not it's going to make for a viable product, whether or not it'll cost too much at scale, or if it'll be cheap enough that you can get them at a great price, make a lot of money, and have an awesome product to sell. Well, I'll be the first to encourage everyone to get outside and make something with their hands. I don't want anything to be out of reach. And if you have some amazing idea that requires something to be made out of steel, titanium, or anything else of that nature, it can be really smart to strategically test out a project or product before going all in on a machine necessary to produce it yourself. With that said, before we get into this, I strongly encourage everyone who is working hard to develop a product to be very careful when choosing any manufacturing partner. It's so important to consider the specific nuances of the manufacturer's location and the reputation of who you choose to work with. For example, it might make a lot of sense for an electronics company to contract out their custom electronics housing to a foreign manufacturer. But the actual electronics themselves are better off being produced in-house or with a local partner. Here's an item I recently ordered from Zometry. I went with the international manufacturing option and ordered them March 4th of 2026. The estimate was they would ship March 19th, but actually shipped on the 12th and arrived the 19th. I ordered these from Zometry and have ordered from Zometry a couple of dozen times now. Anything under the foreign manufacturing is typically coming from China. The package is always impressive and well done. I've always had everything arrive safely. The only finishing work I went with was the pre-selected detabbing and burring, but no other finish work. These look nice. I went for a 304 stainless steel because that's my go-to. I wasn't thinking, and I probably should have gone with a tool steel, but this will work great. They ended up coming out to $24 a piece, just under $60 for the whole thing, or both of them, shipped and tariffs included. The goal here was to create a drilling guide for my hockey bucks. Hockey pucks make for some amazing self-leveling feet, and you can find them for about $1 a piece on Amazon. I'll be making a video shortly on how I make those. The issue I was running into is my vise isn't meant for something soft, so it would unevenly compress the hockey pucks as I was drilling. So even if I would mark dead center, drill where I had marked, the holes were not coming out as I had hoped. The goal is that I will put this on top of the hockey puck before drilling. The hole is slightly above the diameter of the drill bit I will be using, and I'm hoping that this will allow for the vise to grip the hockey puck without allowing for overcompression. I inspected these pretty closely beforehand. I ordered this smaller hole at 22.23 millimeters, so just shy of 7/8, just over 7/8. This larger one I ordered at 27 millimeters, to be just overboard for 1 1/16 inches. It looks nice. That's not too much of a surprise. I like Zometry a lot, and it's why I've continued to go back. One tip is to play around with submitting your design in both metric and standard. I have found that Zometry in particular has a pretty large difference between the two. So even a larger thickness material and all other measurements equal, the standard measurement will often come out 20 to 50% cheaper than the thinner, smaller metric alternative. In addition to reviewing a bunch of Xometry's competitors, I will also be putting out some amazing content on how to develop a CAD file with AI. What's happening is a lot of folks are getting help from AI, and it's providing them with instructions, and it's quite frankly an amazing way to learn from AI. But AI is also about efficiency, and I will show you how to use Python to interact with your CAD-based system. So you ask your AI for what you need help with, and rather than provide instructions, it'll provide you with a short Python script that you enter into your FreeCAD, SolidWorks, or similar alternative. It will take those instructions and apply them to your design. So rather than needing to follow the 10 steps to complete your mapped out objective, it will just give you the Python to achieve whatever is needed. It can also give you an amazing start. Rather than having AI guide you on how to complete the last 20%, which it can still help you to do, this is a great way to have AI provide you with the first 80%, and then you can work with it side by side in fine-tuning it to 100% perfection. Comment below who you think are the best online manufacturers out there. I'll consider reviewing them next. Please consider supporting us by checking out our amazing home hardware we have at PotomacStandard.com, where we look at custom knives and high-end watches for inspiration, never our competitors.